I see you, Andy, too. What's going on? Hello. Your mic is not on if you are meaning to talk.
I'm not talking, you're talking. Is this a laugh?
Oh,
Oh.
yeah, now it is. Now I can
No,
hear you.
okay. Whoa!
Hey, everybody. We're back.
All right.
What an amazing day here for CyberLabCon 2026. And just first off, round of comments, rounds of emojis, applause for Rihanna Schultz, also known as Andrew 2. So, but
It's in track 1.
No, this was a pretty fun, amazing day. So yeah, I mean,
Wait, I wanna read mine.
applause
I missed
to
mine.
Rihanna
Mike,
for
we're
being in the
reading you on.
background,
I'm reading
being
you
the
in.
best, taking care of everything, and this was fantastic. Ugh,
I need
Am
my
I here?
Yeah, hi.
yeah, she pulled you on too soon. I was gonna do my cool read on,
I
but
wasn't
No,
it's
ready.
I
fine.
miss him. I haven't seen him in like 30 months.
How's it going, Mike?
Fantastic, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing good. It has been a fun, eventful 8-hour day. I've not done a good 8-hour stream. I don't think ever. The longest I've gone is four
It's a
hours
long
for my
time.
last year GHI con. So yeah, this is a good practice. So
Any technical difficulties today?
not that the public knows of, but some good things we now need to we now know we need to prep for December. So
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
Andrew, we'll prep this in here. So Andrew, I convinced him to hold his own virtual conference in December for his nonprofit. And so I said, "Oh, hey, since I gave you this amazing idea, you can come on and MC track 1 so you can see all of the chaos and know how to prepare for December."
and it was
Absolutely.
great and it was great preparation. So yeah, we already have some good kind of ideas and AAR comments like, okay, we're gonna do this time. We'll make sure we have this set in place. But huge mention, as I said before, huge shout out to Rihanna and what she's doing and putting this whole thing together, getting all the sponsors together, getting all the slide decks prepared. So yeah, fantastic. And this was so much fun.
Yeah, and before I'll give you, the floor to give Mike's background, some fun facts for the viewers, 'cause there's some people watching that have been longtime followers of me, and then of Mike, and then some of the Ginger Hacker, clan that's also in here, but when I joined LinkedIn, so I joined LinkedIn in 2021, Mike was my 10th connection on LinkedIn.
Oh wow.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, and so Mike gave me FOMO on the speaker side. And so Mike was actually my inspiration to like start going to
Oh,
conferences and stuff because I'm like, oh, this guy with like really weird socks is going out in public. And if he can do it, I can do it. And I have ankle socks, so I should be set, right? So
Absolutely. That's awesome. That's
yeah.
awesome.
And I actually met Mike at a conference and he was like being all chill in the back, like all Batman, just hiding, like he came in late. That's what it was.
Yeah.
But I was like, "Are you Mike Miller?" And he goes, "Oh, yeah." And then like we shook hands or whatever. And I was like, "You're the guy with the socks." I was like, I
you're the guy with the socks.
I guess it worked. I
like,
guess it worked.
yeah. And I was like, "Hi, my name's Rihanna."
That's hilarious. I remember that at
Yeah.
Secure World in Kansas City.
Yep, it was,
think.
I think 2022.
Long time
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah, a long time ago. So anyways, ever since I complimented on Mike's socks, him and I have been
We just become
forever
best friends.
doing
Yep.
things together, and I drag him
Awesome.
in on my events like he has choices. So thank you for being voluntold to be our closing keynote. I forgot to
Absolutely.
tell Pat too. He was also voluntold. So
That's awesome.
so yeah, no, it's good time. So Andrew, thank you again for this 8-hour stream. I'm glad CyberLabCon could be your first 8 hours of streaming online. I have to add that last part. So all right, so I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go back offline and clean my office for Vegas. That's what I've been doing behind the scenes besides popping in. So anyways, I'll give the floor back to you. Mike, thank you so much for coming on
Absolutely.
Saturday. You're a busy person
No
and
worries.
just super excited for what you're talking about today.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Have a great
All
evening.
right. All right. Well, before she pulled you in too early, I'll keep you on to still give you a read on. So, everyone, let me please introduce our closing note today, which is Mike Miller, who is a veteran security executive, VCISO, author, educator, and with more than 25 years of experience helping organizations strengthen their security posture through practical, business-driven strategies. His expertise spans offensive, defensive security, governance, risk and compliance, penetration testing, and executive cybersecurity leadership. A passionate mentor and frequent conference speaker, Mike is the author of The Best in Cyber and founder of Harmony Growth Labs. These engagements have helped thousands of aspiring cybersecurity professionals launch and advertise their careers, training, coaching, community engagements, known for translating complex technical concepts into actionable business insights. Mike empowers organizations and evolves threat landscapes with confidence. And Mike, so glad to kind of finally virtually meet you. I know we've probably bantered back and forth a few times on the LinkedIn.
I believe
Yeah,
so.
very nice to actually see you here on a call. So great to meet you.
Yeah, you as well. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Hopefully today has gone well. And so I am probably the only thing in between everybody and their dinner right now. So I will try not to put everybody to sleep. So,
All right. Well, Mike, I'm going to give you the floor. Thank you again so much for being our closing note. I'm going to go ahead and pass it to you. I will be in the background doing your slides. Drop me in some comments. And if there's anything you need from me, please just say next slide or say, Andy, snap
sounds
that,
good.
and I'll take my clips.
I'll just say next slide. We'll let you run the show.
Now,
Fantastic.
Mike, we do have a little buffer time. Did you want to do present and do your own slides, or do you want Crody to help you out?
You know what? If that's up to him. If you feel like running it, go for it. It's one less thing I got to think about, but
You're
totally up to
putting a
you.
Yeah,
lot of
I
pressure
can.
on him. You know, this
I've been
is
doing
his
it for
last
I've been doing
deck
it for
today.
8 hours. I've been doing it for 8 hours. Let's
Making him earn
knock
his
this
money.
out. I got you. I got the system down. Click,
Yes,
click.
absolutely. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Sounds like you had a fantastic day. It's really great that it's a Saturday, right? It's beautiful out across most of the world right now, and the fact that you're spending today, learning and kind of connecting with others is pretty cool. So kudos to you for doing that. So I would like to, if you'll go with me, I would like to take you on a little bit of a ride, right? So let's picture this. We're driving to work and we hop in our car. And as you can see from the picture, the sun's coming up. It's going to be a beautiful day. This is a road that you've taken many times, and there's not a lot of twists. There's not a lot of turns. You know it very well. So you reach over to your dashboard and you hit, number one on your channel. So you tuned in your favorite radio station, and you hit the little button on the side of your door that makes your seat go just, where it memorized that you were sitting. Turn the air conditioning on. You got those air cooled seats, and you're driving down the road. You've done this drive before, so as we're driving, you get to you can relax a little bit. All of a sudden, though, you're awoken to a loud screech, and this screech, when you open your eyes and look out the window, is sparks coming off of your door. And you realize in that moment that you've fallen asleep behind the wheel. And as you've fallen asleep, you've slammed into the guardrail. So you're awoken abruptly, and you safely pull off to the side of the road to see what's going on. Now, everyone goes by, everyone drives by, no one's stopping to help you, and you get out safely. You step around your car and look at the damage, and you realize there's a lot of damage. So you start thinking to yourself, what needs to be done to get me back on the road? How did this happen? And more importantly, how long is it going to take me to get back on the road? Because you're assessing the damage. And the reason I'm telling you this story is because in cybersecurity, we spend so much time working with the organizations that we work with, and we do a really good job with these organizations, helping them prepare, helping them build a disaster recovery plan, helping them build an incident response plan, policies, procedures, you do the tabletop exercises, you do all of these things so that your organization is prepared. And like I said, you do a really good job. So why is it that we do such a good job for the organizations that we work for, but when it comes to ourselves, we're unprepared? We don't have a backup plan for ourselves. And if you think about it, it's easy in our career to kind of fall asleep at the wheel. Next slide. I'll see if he's listening here. So in cybersecurity and tech in general, we have what I call the career cruise control problem. Many of us are making good salaries, right? Many of you are in the 6 digits. If you're not, you're probably headed there pretty soon. You've got the respectable titles, that you've worked for, that you've been able to climb up through the ranks over the years, and you're comfortable, just like in that driver's seat. It's the same road you drove every single day, but if you get too comfortable, you fall asleep at the wheel. And this cruise control problem we have in our careers gives us this false sense of security that everything's good. Nothing's going to happen. And when we talk about continuity, business continuity plans and all these things that we learn in cybersecurity, we should know that being comfortable in our career is definitely not continuity. Next slide. So if you think about your career, you're comfortable, and then one day, you wake up and you see sparks flying off your door. And this could be because of several different things, company reorg, a merger, layoff, new executive, budget cuts, and obviously AI. And I really like to touch on the new executive and the merger one. Many of us, we get to know our leadership and we build those relationships, and we think, we're pretty darn safe in this organization because we know everybody, right? But how many times how many times have you seen companies go through acquisitions or go through mergers? And the next thing you know, all of those relationships that you have formed, they don't matter anymore because now the executives are moving on. Maybe they're being laid off. Maybe they're, going on to another path. And you're forced to restart, right? So we can't sit back thinking we're really comfortable in our W-2 jobs. So many people feel that they are so safe with a job, right, that they don't feel like they have to have a backup plan. Next slide. So if you think about it, we build DRPs for systems, for organizations, but for ourselves, we are totally winging it, right? And the same thing should apply to us that applies in an organization. And so start thinking about critical assets, single points of failure, recovery objectives, backups, testing. Yes, those are technical things, again, for our organization, but I want to kind of put you in the mindset of building your own and why we need to build our own career personal DRP. Next slide. So think of your job as, and I'd love to see this in the comments, right? How many of you have been at your job for 2 or more years, 5 or more years, 10 or more years? I would love for you to just throw in the comments like how long you've been at your job. And while we're doing that, I want you to think about your career in context to a server, right? And we'll just say you've been in your job for 10 years and you feel really, really safe, and so it's this server. You have this server running, for 10 years, which is, over 3,000 days. And as long as that server's running, everything's great. But when that server goes down, what happens? It's panic. So I want you to think about your job as one system that your career currently depends on. Next slide. So the personal DRP framework is, and this should look really familiar to anyone who's worked with DRPs. We're going to go through asset inventory, risk assessment, business impact, RTO, RPO, if you know what those are, backups and redundancy, and tabletop exercises. And please take notes. because these things are really important. I want you to walk away with this really thinking about your career from a big picture. And from now on, I want you to think about and thank you for putting the years in it. It's fantastic. From now on, I want you to think about yourself as a business. So many of you have, great W-2 jobs, but whether you like it or not, whether you know it or not, you're still in business because you're in the business of selling yourself to an employer, right? And you're also in the business of making sure that you're giving that employer the product or service that they need, which is your time and your skill set. So let's go ahead and go to the next slide. So let's talk about asset inventory. So we all know, so I work as a VCISO, and we all know, if anyone has done that type of work, when you walk into an organization to do an audit, one of the first things that I always ask for is their asset inventory. We all know that when we get that asset inventory list, maybe it's a spreadsheet, maybe it's some other form, it's always up to date, right? It's always up to date. It always has every system. There's never any mistakes, right? Right. Yeah, right. It's kind of a joke. We know that I don't know if I've ever seen an asset inventory list that's been totally up to date, that's had every asset in there. So I want you to think about yourself as well. Think about your asset inventory. And you can't recover what you've not documented. And you also can't protect what you've not documented. So I want you to think about the skills that you can prove. How can you prove it? Do you have a GitHub? Are you blogging somewhere? Are you writing somewhere? Are you volunteering or speaking somewhere? How can you prove the skills that you have? What types of problems have you solved? Cybersecurity is a technical business, but even more importantly, it's a people business. At the end of the day, our job is to solve problems that we are presented with. And many of you have solved a lot of problems. So have you documented those problems at a high level to talk about your thinking process, what you went through, how you solved the problem, how you do it differently next time? And then the next one's relationships. What relationships have you earned over time? I know me, I keep a huge list of some of my top relationships that I have, so that if something were to ever happen and I need to activate my disaster recovery plan, I have my call list, right? I have the people that I know that can help me out pretty quickly, and I'm going to call them. And then lastly, we all have stories, right? Every one of our stories is different. Not one of us is the same. And we need to be able to tell the stories that show the impact of what we've done. And the thing is that everyone thinks they need to tell stories about their successes. But the truth is that people learn from failures. Like, I have definitely failed more in my career probably than I've succeeded. But every time I fail, I try to fail forward, right? So, even on my LinkedIn all the time, I'm always talking about something that I failed at, what I learned, and how I'm going to do better. And I would highly recommend telling those stories. And many people come to me and they'll say, Mike, I have a good resume, right? Well, if you're thinking from an auditor perspective, when you're gathering evidence, your resume is only one piece of evidence. And it's not an entire audit. It's not a total list of your asset inventory. Next slide. So now let's think about a risk assessment. What are the things that can take you down, right? So single employer, any of us that are employed by a single employer could walk into work this coming Monday morning and be without a job. We can't control, as much as we think we can control that, unless we're writing our own checks, we can't control that. So a single employer could absolutely take you down. Stale skills. Are you working somewhere that you have a very niche set of skills, but those skills are they're kind of siloed within the organization? Maybe your organization only runs certain software. Maybe they do things very uniquely. What happens when you need to take another job? Are those skills going to carry over? And a visible network can take you down, not having the connections that you need when you need them. And I like to talk about burnout a lot because we all fear being laid off or losing our position. But at the end of the day, what about the people who are burnt out, but they feel stuck. They don't really have any options to go anywhere. The truth is, we all have options. We can all do something else, but many of us just aren't prepared for that day when we're like, okay, I really want to take that next step and go somewhere else. AI disruption. You can't go through a day without someone talking about AI taking our jobs. I'm not going to break that way down into it and give you my opinion, but at the same time, we need to prepare. We need to prepare for AI just changing things. So staying on top of AI, being able to understand it, being able to talk about it, being able to become more proficient at your job and more efficient by using it. And the other thing is, and I'm not a financial advisor, is having no runway, right? If we were to lose our job tomorrow, we need some type of runway to get us to that next gig. Next slide. So the next would be the business impact analysis. And I go back to how many months of runway do you have? Think about yourself. If you were to lose your job Monday morning, that you go to swipe your badge or you go to log in and you're locked out, how many months of runway or maybe even years of runway do you have before that server you have kind of shuts off? What's your monthly burn rate? What are you spending per month? What are the things you could cut out as part of that plan to get to that minimum operational level that you need to be able to operate? It depends on your income. Is it just you? Is it family? Is it kids? And think about those things. And then the next one, what role does your job play in your identity? And I'll talk about, I really like to talk about this one, and I'll just pick just a random IAM, Identity and Access Management. Great position, great skills. It's a great career. But if you're working in IAM, and I'm talking about any different position, not just IAM, just using it as an example, does your entire identity fall within AIM? Meaning that if that position were taken away and you had to expand out of IAM and do something else, does your identity cover other things? So don't get yourself so absorbed into one small silo or one small sector that you eliminate yourself automatically from other opportunity. And then what income bridge can you activate fast? When we talk about our BIAs or business impact analysis, and our job is taken Monday, what income bridge could you activate fast? Maybe it's contracts that you could get with people. Maybe it's people from your top 5 list that can help you out finding that next gig. One thing to remember is that a layoff, it's not just a career event. It's not something that just impacts us. It's financial, it's emotional, it impacts your family. Sometimes it impacts your friends. And, it also impacts your identity as well. Next slide. So we all love these terms, RTO and RPO. So RPO or RTO, recovery time objective. How fast can you recover your meaningful income? So if we'll use round numbers. If you have to make $5,000 a month to cover your bills and you lose your job, do you have a plan built, at least a strategy built to help you get to that level again? And then the next one, RPO, how much progress are you willing to lose? And I like using the example of titles, right? Because some people really get stuck on titles. Maybe your title is a senior security engineer level 3, and you lose your job. Are you willing to take an associate engineer, security engineer position, or a junior engineer position, or just engineer 1? So many people get caught up on those titles when really you have to kind of step back, look down from a 30,000-foot view and say, does that title really matter? Or do I need to only look for jobs that's a senior security engineer 3? Because if I do, I might be out of business a lot longer than I would if I were able to open those doors a little bit. So how much progress are you willing to lose and then start over? Next slide. We see this all the time with organizations, especially in the SMB world, where they don't really have a disaster recovery plan. They're not really working hard on their security model. And you hear, we're a small business. We don't have a large attack surface. No one's really going to touch us. And that strategy is called hope, right? Sometimes it works. Most of the time it doesn't. But many of us in our careers, when we don't have that DRP built for ourselves, we are 100% operating on hope that Monday morning we can still log in. So it's, in my opinion, it's irresponsible for us to hold an organization accountable to all of these things when for ourselves, we're kind of winging it, with hope. Next slide. So number 5, let's talk about backups and redundancy. These are the things that you build before you need them, right? First of all is a resume. If you lose your job, you shouldn't be scrambling tomorrow or today to fix up that resume. It should already be there. Your LinkedIn account. I will tell you from personal experience that your LinkedIn account, LinkedIn has 1.3 billion people right now on the platform, and these are real human beings, most of them, real human beings with where they work, just great people. I would tell you from personal experience, LinkedIn has the ability to change your life. And I'll rephrase that. You have the ability to change your life using a platform like LinkedIn, right? Just by gaining that visibility, those relationships that turn into an equals opportunity. References. Are you going to panic and reach out and try to get references from people that you're unsure if they'll give you a reference? You should already have those conversations with people. You should already have those kind of in your list. And proof of work, being able to prove your work. Again, is it GitHub? Is it projects that you've done? Is it articles that you've written, software that you've built, whatever it is. And your network as well, being connected to people and their savings account. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, but thinking about maybe instead of going to your local sushi shop every Friday night, put that extra $100 in your savings account, as kind of your backup and redundancy. A learning plan. And this goes back to, are we siloed in our job where we're doing the same thing every day, but we don't really have a plan for learning something else, right? We have to have a learning plan. That learning plan always has to be activated, not after a disaster happens. It always has to be activated. We always have to be learning. And the other thing is side income. You are allowed to, most organizations, and I can't speak for every single one of them, most organizations, they don't really care if you're doing something on the side. Maybe you're working on cars, maybe you're Ubering, doing whatever. If there's some type of income that you can activate so that you're not totally dependent on your job, that helps you as well. And many say to me, Mike, I feel like I'm being disloyal if I'm doing all of these other things. And like I have here in the bottom line, redundancy is not disloyalty. It's a responsible architecture. We expect an organization to have redundancy in a straight or in a great architecture, but at the end of the day, do we have a responsible architecture built for ourselves? Next slide. Visibility. I've spoken about this so many times. Visibility is absolutely career insurance. You don't wait until your car gets dinged and get out of your car and call Allstate to say, I'd like to activate an insurance plan, or I'd like to sign up for insurance. It already needs to be in place. We can't lose our jobs and then run to LinkedIn or call all of our friends and acquaintances and say, I've lost my job. It's too late. We have to have that visibility. It's not about who you know, it's about who knows you. And you can be the smartest person in the world. You could be the greatest communicator in the world. You could be the best on your team. But if you don't have any visibility outside of the organization you work for, that is an extremely dangerous place to be. I mentor people all the time, and I would tell you, the people that I see this all the time, people that maybe aren't as qualified as someone else who are getting the jobs because they have that visibility. They're able to communicate versus the smartest person in the world. They're just not seen. They're not communicating. They don't have that proof of work, and they don't have that visibility. Next slide. So let's talk about patch management. Learning is career patch management, and I truly believe this. AI fluency. If you're not doing any type of AI learning or training right now, it could be a dangerous place in tech. We have to be learning. We have to at least understand industry trends. We have to be able to talk about it a little bit, just to kind of to stay patched, right? And I'll go back to communication. I personally, I've had several firms throughout my life. I have personally hired people that were less qualified for the job than someone else because they know how to communicate. They can communicate very well. Smartest person in the room, if they cannot communicate, it's hard for them to solve problems. It's hard for them to talk about what they need. It's hard for me to talk to them. Communication is absolutely number one. Cloud and identity, understand AWS, understand Azure, all of those different things. No, you don't have to go sign up for a million courses, but just understand what's going on and be able to talk about them. And the last one, proof that you understand things deeply can come greatly from just teaching things that you guys have watched several different seminars today from people, some great lectures. And these are all people that are super smart, and they're teaching these things. And anybody here has the ability to hit that post button, hit that go live button, record a video teaching things that And many people say to me, "Well, Mike, someone else has already done that." That's okay, because you're different. You have a different story. You have a different personality. When we're flipping through the channels, a lot of the TV shows are the same. But why do we tune in to certain channels? It's because we like the presentation of how they're doing it. Next slide. So I want you to type here in the chat where you think you are on this map. This is a resilience map. If something were to happen to your job Monday morning, do you feel that you're prepared, but you're hidden a little bit? And I want to see the answers in here. Are you invisible and unready? Are you known but in a fragile situation? Are you recoverable and in demand? And if you're recoverable and in demand, that, in my opinion, is the best place to be. So, and I recommend for anyone else here, feel free to chime in there anytime. Next slide. So we require our organizations to do tabletop exercises, if you're in any type of senior cybersecurity role. So why are we not doing our own tabletop exercises? Next slide. I love that. Recoverable and in demand, prepared but hidden. So I want you to think about your 24-hour recovery test. Your server goes down. You lose your job tomorrow. Who are the first 5 people you're going to call? What resume are you going to send? Is it okay to have a couple versions of resumes? Absolutely. It's okay to highlight different. You may have 3 totally different skill sets, and some of them match up perfectly to different jobs. So it's okay to have 3 different resumes, as long as you're being honest about your knowledge set and your skill set. So what resume do you send? What story do you tell? When you get online or when you talk to people, what story do you tell about the things that you've done, about the position you're currently in, and so on? And what proof do you have to show? What income bridge do you have to activate? And the thing is, like it says, if this creates panic, it's not weakness. It's just exposing gaps, and that is why we do these tabletop exercises for ourselves. A disaster recovery plan never goes perfect in an organization. There's always lessons learned. So when we do our own recovery test, we're going to find gaps. And then we say, okay, maybe I need to build another version of my resume. Maybe I need to work on that story that I need to tell. Next slide. Many times when something happens, if you are prepared, it can turn out to be a opportunity instead of a disaster. It could turn out to be a better role. Maybe you're going to consult. Maybe you're going to dive deeper into the community. Maybe you're going to leverage teaching and teach more things to the public and gain out of that. Or maybe you will start your own business. A disaster doesn't always have to be a disaster. If you're prepared and you've built your own personal DRP and you've done your tabletop exercises, when these things happen, sometimes you welcome it. You say, you know what? I've prepared for this for years. and now I'm ready to activate my DRP and kind of take myself to the next level. Next slide. So I challenge you to, in the next 30 days, build your personal DRP. Take screenshots of this, Day 1 through 7, inventory your wins, proof, skills, and relationships. Days 8 to 14, refresh your LinkedIn account, your resume, your references, and define what roles that you would love to target, Day 15 through 21, reconnect with people and publish one useful idea. Teach something that you know. Even if you're not in cybersecurity yet, you're working on a certification, you're taking courses, whether you think you are or not, you're absolutely a thought leader. You've already done something that someone else is still thinking about. Even if you're studying for your Security Plus and you haven't taken your Security Plus, you can still talk about the things that you've been through, how you're studying, what you're learning, because there's someone else that's thinking, should I sign up for the Security Plus? And maybe from hearing someone else's story that's close to being in the same boat, it can help them as well. And it also helps put you on the map a little bit. Day 22 through 30, run the layoff tabletop exercise and fix the biggest gaps. Keep running this. Don't wait till the sparks flying off of your doors to start building your plan. Next slide. The thing is, you do have to realize that when something does happen, it's not like starting over. We build failover plans. So have that warm site, have that hot site ready, in your back pocket, so that when things happen, you're able to fail over. Next slide. And that is it. I would love if any of you have questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. I'll be more than happy to stick around and talk about them. If you want to connect, just type in Mike Miller on LinkedIn. I think the same picture comes up. I'm in a blue sports coat. It should be at the top. But if any of you have any questions, feel free to reach out. So thank you, everybody, for being here. I really, really appreciate it.
Mike, I can only say, because I've also been following you for a hot minute, amazing advice, very much, I think, true to the heart of a lot of folks. I think sometimes folks overthink the little things when it comes into sharpening your skills, networking, keeping your LinkedIn up to date, posting positive and commenting on other folks' content in the community. And just like you said, like branding yourself, no matter how far you're in your career, whether you're just starting, whether you're in your mid role, whether you're working on a senior C-suite level, being active and involved in the community not only sets you up for success for when you do have your bad days, but it also helps you set up your days when you have your good days. And you can celebrate the wins with your friends. You can also celebrate the losses and kind of those bad days too, where the layoffs happen, or you just had a rough day at work, or you need to pick someone's brain or talk to someone across the incident. With burnout, as you mentioned, also, like I said, so many nails you hit on the head. And burnout alone too, across the spectrum of entry level to C-suite, is still a huge issue today. So I mean, I just want to say thank you so much for all those golden nuggets of information, and just really appreciate your time.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yes.